Are you tired of Don Lemon yet? Anybody tired of him? I know I am. I sat back and I watched the clip of Don Lemon being on the Jimmy Kimmel show. And damn, I wish I could show it to you, but copyright. But I'm going to say this, this is a long interview. Don Lemon complaining about him being arrested by ICE and giving the play-by-play. I mean, it was a 16-minute segment of Kimmel just talking to Don Lemon about something he sat in custody for 6, 7 hours? The segment was almost as long as the amount of time he spent in a holding cell. He was in a holding cell. He didn't even have to change clothes. He wasn't even strip searched. He didn't get the full treatment of being arrested. And still we got to hear about this rich man being subjected to what Americans get all the time. And fam, he did not get it. He did not get the treatment of the average American. I want him to know that. If Trump was going around locking up reporters for reporting, it'd be a lot more reporters locked up, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it be? I mean, I'm just saying, wouldn't it be? I mean, we do know there's a specific reason why Don Lemon and others were prosecuted at the church. People should know now he violated a couple of statutes. One is called the FACE Act. You can't interrupt a church service. That's it. You can't do it. And if you walk into a door of a church with protesters who intend to interrupt a church service while service is going on, while parishioners are there, serving the Lord or preaching or whatever, then you should know if you're Don Lemon and this is a planned event, you travel from New York to Minnesota to attend and embed yourself in the protest. You don't have a lawyer you can consult to make sure, hey, is this cool? And Don Lemon's not even saying, hey, I didn't know it was wrong or I didn't know it was illegal to interrupt a church proceeding live. Don Lemon's a rich guy with lawyers on standby. But he won't say, hey, I made a mistake. Maybe I should not have gone with them. Maybe I should have asked my lawyer. That's not even a question. And Jimmy Kimmel doesn't ask the guy, hey, maybe you should ask, did you ask your lawyer if what you did was legal? Or if what the protesters were doing was legal? Because to me, it's crazy. It's like, you say you're just a journalist, you're just there to report the news, you have nothing to do with what they're doing. Let me get this right. If a kidnapper or bank robber runs into a bank, and you know they're about to rob the bank and you're with them, you don't have an obligation to report a crime? You can go with them as they rob the bank as long as you're just reporting it. How do you know that they're about to rob a bank? See, I think people are not thinking this through when they go, oh, this makes sense. Yeah, okay. Hey, Trump, he does a lot of stuff out of display. It's theatrics. It's nonsense. I already been on the record. I told you, I don't think anything's going to happen with this Don Lemon charge. I just don't, okay? I knew he was going to be out quick. He was out quicker than I thought, but I knew he was going to be out quick. I said 24 hours. It was more like 8, 7 hours. Out immediately. The ink had barely dried on his paperwork. He was already out of the holding cell. But it's not just that. This conversation now, the Democrats are now seized upon this. They got people thinking, oh my God, it's a war on journalists. We must protect journalists, even hacks like Don Lemon, right? Because now he's independent journalist now. Because he got fired from CNN with his $24 million buyout. Poor Don, right? I know you can't wait to see this video clip of Don Lemon and AOC gaslighting you about how scary this time is for journalists.
They know that they can't go after all of us. They know that they can't go after everyone with a cell phone. They know that they can't go after every single journalist who's trying to cover these stories. And so what they want to do is that they want to make an example out of one person that's highly visible or has a position of leadership like you or like Georgia Ford, in order to get people who are trying to do similar things to to self-censor, to self-silence, to be afraid that, well, if it happened to him, then it could happen to me, so I'm not going to do it. Because they know that we outnumber them, and they know that they can't go after all of us. So I think I just want to say how important it is, the example that you're setting by not backing down.
See? No mention at all to the reason why Don Lemon was arrested. The reason Don Lemon got arrested is because they went into a church. Why is it no one wants to say, hey, this is a different thing? He went into a church. He went into a church with protesters while there was an ongoing sermon. You can't do that. You know, there have been people that have been arrested under Biden who stood outside of like abortion clinics and chanted stuff, interrupted services or blocked entrances, and they were arrested. This is not a new thing. This is not a new law, right? So it's just crazy. It's like what's happening here is selective outrage, right? And nonsense. How many people have been arrested for filming the police? I mean, if that was the case, fam, there'd be a full jail cell of how many people? You know what I'm saying? How many people would be arrested? A lot of people would be arrested. This has been going on before ICE. It's happening now, but it's always been going on. And that's the thing with AOC and with Don Lemon and with this whole story. Family, any issue you have with ICE is an issue that you could have had with police. But here's the difference though, fam. When it's police, not ICE, it impacts us. And nobody cares what impacts us. They care about what impacts undocumented immigrants. Oh my God, it's happened to an undocumented immigrant. Oh no, stop everything. We in trouble now. Now democracy is at stake. But when it's just regular U.S. citizens, no big deal. Nothing to see here. So that's part of the problem is the hypocrisy, fam. No one cares about us. Our issues, not important. File 13, get it out of here. But, separate this way, it's an immigrant issue. These are the new Americans. We're making so much money off these people, providing services to our friends and cutting checks and creating 501c3s and all other types of organizations. People are getting all types of grants to help these people. These are our new Democrats.
I have a particular message to Black America that it's interesting that I believe the journalists that were arrested all look like me and you.
10 seconds.
And so this is not the first time this has happened. As a matter of fact, the journalist that is with me, Jasmine, was arrested a few years ago.
Mayor, you seem angry in court.
A few years ago under who, Ms. Bass? Would that be under Biden? See, here's the thing, fam. First of all, you see people looking like you, Karen Bass? You mean a little Latino woman? Because that's what you look like. Actually, technically, she's a Black American. She's just married to a Mexican. Okay, that's gone too far. I didn't mean that. Let's cut that. We're not going to put that in. She looks Afro-Latina. I don't know. Oh, look, here's the thing. She brought it up, not me. The point is this. Fam, the people that were arrested for the violations of the FACE Act, peanuts, right? The cases that really matter are the ones where they're saying you're selling government secrets. The journalists that are leaking intel, like the Ukraine, where the guy Trikisia, whatever, he leaked information about the Ukraine war, like that. Right? Chelsea Manning had to flee the country, get out of here, cause be in jail for the rest of his life. WikiLeaks, Julian Assange. These types of things are typically not Black. These are white people going to jail for journalism, okay? That's what's happening. So, but Karen Bass, it's just gets redundant when the Democrats just use blackness to just make any type of point they want to. But whatever they do, it's never really to help black people. I have no problem with you using blackness to help black Americans. They're using blackness to somehow defend undocumented immigrants in the fight against ICE, which is not a black American issue. Like I said, I'm all for using what's applicable for those applicable people. Yeah, if I was advocating for veterans, we use issues that impact veterans. We use a situation, an example of veterans to help veterans. That makes sense. And all I'm saying is, why is that the Democratic Party using instances of black Americans to help black Americans? Now, they use instances of black Americans to help everybody else except black Americans. And that, my friends, is a problem. Stop letting these people gaslight you. Stay dangerous. Become a member of this show. Go to jointimberlake.com.